Hello and welcome to a Homespun house. My name is Molly and I'm greeting you from Berlin, Germany, where I live with my husband, Robert, and my two little girls who are 4 years old and a year old. It's a really nice sunny day today, which I as a yarn dyer absolutely love, and I love that autumn is arriving and it's giving us some cooler days. But the sun is also really nice because it helps my yarn to dry a lot faster, and I have been dyeing up a storm. I think I currently have 175 skeins on the drying racks. I have some skeins that need to be skeined up. Right here I have my pumpkin spice colorway. I wonder if you guys can see this, maybe with the sun coming. So this is it on my gold stellina base. And that's in the shop, along with pumpkin spice on BFL sock. This is a really, really lovely yarn. I have a normal merino sock. It's a 75-25, and this is a 75-25 BFL, and I feel like this would make the most fantastic mittens. So that's pumpkin spice. I have been dyeing it on tweed, but I thought it would be really fun to do some gold stellina and some BFL, just to switch it up a bit. But speaking of mittens, I picked up my foraging mittens that I started forever ago. I had to have started these last November of 2015, I'm guessing. So when I first started dyeing yarn, I obviously, well, not obviously, but I really wanted to really try out a lot of different yarn bases, and I did that. And so one of the yarn bases that I tried out, I think this was one of the first yarn shipments that I got from a German yarn company, and I don't use this company anymore. My Olsen base that I used to use and I dyed a lot of yarn on, I don't carry that yarn at all. Anyway, so the BFL that I have is not the same BFL as my old Olsen base. I love this one. It's not even comparable. The quality and everything is gorgeous of my new BFL base. But anyway, so this is just a 100% superwash wool. It's not merino. It is just honestly a really, really lovely woolly yarn. It's a little bit plasticky. Not a lot, but you can definitely feel that it's superwash. I love it. I'm knitting these mittens for myself. I initially knit them for my grandma last year, but they were too small for her hands. So I decided to keep them for myself. I have very, very small hands. I've mentioned that before. And I have one finished, so I'm really excited. I have to weave in the ends. But this is my foraging pattern. And I love the way that they turned out. So this is a colorway that I dyed up, one of the first colorways, like I said. I did not write the formula down, but I'm kicking myself about that a bit because I really love the way that they turned out. By looking at it, I can tell a bit of, what the colors are, but there are some in there that I have no idea. So this is my foraging mitten pattern out of a yarn base that I don't carry. So then, here's the second one. It just needs the thumb. And like I said, these are teeny tiny because I have teeny tiny hands. And these are knit on 2mm needles. I think that's a size US 0. However, you can knit the pattern on a 2.5mm needle. It would definitely, obviously loosen up the gauge, but it would make it still a very, very wearable, warm mitten. And while these mittens do have that pretty lace panel in the front, they're very, very warm. So I had knit a second pair out of, these look like little rabbits, little ears. Out of a BFL yarn, and this is my Pygmy Puff colorway that my mom actually dyed. When she was here last year, she We dyed up yarn together, and this is the colorway that she dyed, and I loved it so much that I decided to recreate it and call it Pygmy Puff. And these mittens are too long for her, so I have to take out about, I don't know, 2 repeats. So they're not really that long. They're maybe just, I would say 2 centimeters or 3/4 of an inch too long. And I will definitely do that as soon as I get the thumb in my mittens. So she has, her hands are a teeny bit larger than mine, but she also has, you know, fairly small hands. But she would like them to fit better. She doesn't like that there's that little flap up there. So it doesn't bother me at all, to be honest, but I can understand. She uses her hands a lot to do things, and I can understand how she would want that ripped back. So I love this. This is the BFL base that I now use. I don't know why I didn't decide to use it. I think it was just because the base is quite expensive. But I decided it's time to take the plunge. I'm buying really, really amazing quality yarns that I dye on for the shop, and I thought BFL is really a base that I want to have back again, and I love it. I just think it's such a fantastic base, and it's lovely for everything. It's really not even that scratchy, I feel like. I feel like I could wear it as a cardigan or even a shawl. Like, it is a bit scratchy, I guess, but I feel like I could get used to it. But for socks and mittens even, it doesn't itch my wrists at all. It's fantastic. So the next thing that I have been working on, I feel like because I haven't podcasted in so long, I have no idea what I've shown you and what I haven't shown you. So I finished my Joji Locatelli Pure Joy. Is that what it's called? Pure Joy? No, Party on My Needles shawl, and I decided to cast on a new one. So I cast on the Marley shawl, and I'm using some gorgeous yarn. I have no idea what the mix is. I feel like I've talked about this with you guys before, but maybe not. And I just feel like the gauge is way too tight for brioche. This is a 3mm needle, and I'm thinking that I need to go up to a 3.5mm needle. So I just knit a little bit on there, and I'm deciding that I probably need to rip it out. I really, really like the yarn, but maybe it wants to be something else, and maybe I need to knit the Marley in different yarn. So I don't know what this yarn will become exactly. And in here I have my adorable stitch markers from Simple Love. Aren't they so pretty? They're definitely me, with the pretty little hearts and beads. Amber of Simple Love dyes a lot of Gilmore Girl themed yarn, and then holiday themed yarn and seasonal themed yarn, and she does a really beautiful job. She makes gorgeous patchwork project bags, and she has a really, really lovely podcast. She just, if you haven't seen her Instagram either, it's, oh my god, I think it's Simple Love Handmade. Could even just be Simple Love, but her name is Amber Crawley, and her Instagram is one of my favorites. She does such beautiful patchwork. She puts really beautiful things together. Yeah, so definitely check her out. The next thing that I have been working on is my alpine shawl. So this is a shawl that I, as I mentioned before, I really wanted to have come out last autumn of 2015, but the funny thing is the only thing that needs to be finished about this pattern is the photographs need to be edited. They were taken last year in Roche, and they've just never been edited. The pattern is written, so I decided I wanted to knit up a second sample of this yarn, and I'm knitting it in, of this pattern, and I'm knitting it in a Homespun house, Dale, and that's a 100% non-superwash merino. It's so fantastic and spongy, and it's one of my favorites. So I'm knitting this in the Bohemian colorway and Sprinkles colorway. And it's just really pretty and light, and I feel, however, if I were to be knitting this, if I were to cast this all over again, I would definitely choose different colors to put together. It still is pretty and very wearable and soft, but I feel like it's a little bit too pastel for me. But I still think it's pretty. I can, I'll maybe wear it. Elodie will maybe wear it, or maybe I will find somebody to gift it to. I'm knitting these on my favorite set of interchangeables at the moment, my Rosewoods. I've just really been enjoying using those since I got them, basically. And then I have my favorite themed charms on here, a pine tree, a pine cone, I have a squirrel, and I love those. So I'm using my pretty bag from Jewels, which I adore. She's so sweet, Violet. So I've been having a lot of fun knitting that. What else have I been working on? What's in here? I have been obsessively knitting on my, or crocheting rather, on my scrappy granny stripe blanket. And speaking earlier of Amber from Simple Love, now I'm totally confused, from Simple Love, she's decided to cast one on too. And it's funny that she has decided that, because I am currently knitting with all of her mini skeins. So I magic knot my yarn in this blanket. I am usually not a magic knot person. I would never magic knot socks. Oh shoot, I'm pulling this out. But for the purpose of this blanket, I am magic knotting. You cannot see the magic knots. You can't feel them at all. It just works perfectly. It makes the blanket so effortless. And I'm loving knitting Amber's minis in here. I feel like she updates her shop regularly with little mini skein sets. They're usually themed. I think, like I said, lately they've been Gilmore Girl themed. But I know that she wants to come out with some sort of mini skein scrappy sock set, which sounds like a lot of fun. So I put all of the mini skeins that I got from her into this ball so I can just crochet right along until it's done. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. My blanket is massive. I've mentioned before that I chained 315, so it's getting bigger. I don't think I've been really crocheting on this for so long. So for as short as I've been crocheting on it in fingering weight yarn, I feel like it's pretty big. I've crocheted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows since last seeing you guys. And it seems like my blanket is going to be very jewel toned with hints of glitter in there. And I always adore adding the glitter yarns. Just something about it. It's just so much fun. I love this blanket. It's something that lately anyway, since I've started hooking, isn't that the most terrible word ever? Since I've started hooking, since I've started crocheting rather, I just love it. There's not a time that I pick it up and I don't enjoy it. So it's definitely something that's nice in the evenings now that it's been cooler, because I like to have my windows open all the time, even when it's quite chilly, and just to kind of throw over my lap a little bit. Now it's not that deep, but it's deep enough to warm me up a little. So it's very lovely, and when this is done, it will be quite generous for 2 people, quite a generous sized blanket. So I'm excited. I don't know who it will be for the end result, but I definitely at some time would really be happy to have a blanket for Elodie and Ruby, my 2 children, to take with them when they leave, or even to have in their rooms to snuggle with, just for each of them to have their own special blankets. So I don't know how I will decide that, because I am knitting a Cozy Memories blanket, and I'm just doing one of those, and then I'm crocheting this one, which is just my scrappy stripe blanket. Did I say knitting? I'm crocheting it, if I didn't say that. So that's a lot of fun. I have it in one of my Homespun house bags. I don't use these handles anymore. I don't like them very much anymore. I use a much nicer quality handle now. So this one I kept for myself, because as soon as I got my new handles, I decided that I didn't want to put this one out in the shop. So some people do have bags with that handle on it, obviously, because I used it for a while until I found just a really nice quality handle. Anyway, so it's basically outgrowing my bag, so I'm going to have to put it in something else soon, but it's gorgeous. So there it is, all folded up and pretty, and I'm not working on any other crochet projects. This is the only one that I'm working on, and I don't really have a desire to crochet other than blankets, but I know a lot of people currently are working on different crochet granny square blankets, granny square rectangle blankets, hexy ones, scrappy, almost Cozy Memory blanket style ones that have the squares. But I love the way this looks. I was completely inspired by Sarah of Love Sock Wool, along with Jilly from the Knitting Broomsticks podcast, because it is the perfect way to use your ends of yarn. But then the problem is I'm using all of my minis and I'm not putting them in my Cozy Memories blanket, which I guess is fine, because I really just want to knit on what I want and what I'm interested in, or crochet rather. Why do I keep saying knit? Probably because I'm a knitter, I guess. But I've just really been enjoying that. So if you guys have a lot of scraps that you need to, not that you need to, because you don't need to get rid of anything, but that you just kind of feel like are taking over and you want to use them in something and not just have them sitting in bins and boxes and thinking that you will use them for future projects, definitely make some sort of crochet, or even knit if you definitely say no way, crochet is in no way for me, type of blanket. Because this one's really nice, because like I said, of the magic knots, it just, you can use every single piece of that yarn. And because I chained 315 across, it just, it uses, each stripe uses I wonder how much. I would say maybe 7 grams of yarn. I'm sure I've told you this before, but let me grab this. So I finished my Metamorphosis socks, but those are in the wash, unfortunately. I have been wearing them every single day. I really love the length of them. I think that they fit perfect, but I'll have to show you guys those next time. So I cast on a second pair of socks, and I used my Adam and Eve yarn. This is 81% merino, 9% cashmere, 10% nylon, and 100% temptation. So this doesn't say superwash merino, but it feels like it. So I'm guessing this is a superwash yarn. I'm almost positive the cashmere is not a superwash, because usually in sock yarns the cashmere isn't. But I'm really loving it. The colorway is A and E. I guess that's Adam and Eve. Maria. So this is specially dyed for River City Yarns, which is where Tracy and Jody of the Groceria girls go for their local yarn shop. And Tracy and Jody so nicely gifted this skein of yarn to me, and I absolutely adore them. And I love this yarn that I think Tracy picked out for me. So I decided that these had to be cast onto some cozy socks. I decided to knit the cuff and the leg particularly, a lot longer than I normally do. I know that this can be quite a standard length, but I used to knit my legs quite long. I have just, as you've seen, gotten into the habit of knitting shorter cuffs, just because that's just what I've really been enjoying to wear lately. So this one, I enjoyed using the yarn so much, and they just felt so squishy and cozy. And something about it, I love the way that this just naturally stripes. It is not a self-striping yarn, which, you know, you can tell, but the way that the color pools or stripes is fantastic, I think. So I just wanted to keep on knitting, and we've been in the car quite a bit lately. But I decided, why not? Why not make a longer leg? Why not use the most of this yarn? It's 325 meters. So I want to use as much as I can because it's less than a normal, whatever that is, than, you know, kind of the standard sock yarns. So I thought it would be fun to use 50 grams per sock approximately. I did not weigh them. And I did finish the first one. I did a slip stitch heel, flap, and then just a rounded gusset here. Well, this is the gusset. And then a rounded toe. And then I do not Kitchener. I draw my stitches through the end. I went to the Berlin Yarn Crawl, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure. And I was speaking with one of the knitters there, and I think her heritage is maybe Scandinavian. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I know you watched the podcast. Steffi was her name. I remember that. And she said that this is the way that she does her heels, gussets, and toes as well, with drawing through. And she said that that's a very Scandinavian thing, which I know as well. My Grandma Sue is Norwegian, or comes from Norwegian heritage. And my grandfather as well, her husband, his father came from Norway. And this is the way that my grandma knits her toes. I think I've maybe Kitchenered two pairs of socks, but this really works for me. Mine never comes undone, and I like the way that it feels a lot. I don't have a very, you know, blunt end of my feet, so, or blunt end to my toes, so drawing the stitches through works really, really nicely. I do have the second one cast on. I have done, again, the cuff, the leg, take out my little bobbins, needle protector. And I have done the heel. And then right now I'm decreasing for the gusset. I was able on the yarn crawl to meet Regina from Herbstblatt Regina. And she gave me this really sweet brass colored leaf. I think she gives those with most of her orders. I am not sure at all. I've never ordered from her online, but it is a leaf, or Blatt, as you say in German, which I think is really cute because her shop name is Herbstblatt, which means autumn leaves or autumn leaf in German. So it's really fitting. I really love these brass colored charms lately. I'm really, really into them. So thinking about buying some brass charms and Progress Keeper tops or stitch markers, because I just think they look so pretty. So yeah, now I'm doing the gussets, decreases, and then will be knitting the leg and rounding off for the toe. I have no idea what yarn I'll cast on for my next pair of socks, but I have lots to choose from, so I'm pretty excited about that. I feel like usually when I'm knitting a pair of socks and I get to the second sock, I'm dreaming about the new yarn to cast on for my new pair of socks. And lately I've been pretty good, whatever that means, because each person really enjoys and has their own rhythm of knitting. But for me lately, I've just felt very comfortable having one pair of socks on the needles at a time. So I don't think it used to be like that. I'm not sure, but I feel like if I had more than one pair of socks on the needle at a time, I wouldn't get socks finished. And for me, I'm very much so a process knitter. I'm really happy to have something completed as well, but a lot of the knits that I finish, I often don't use, especially socks. So for me, it's really about, you know, putting that skein on the Swift and winding it up and then knitting for socks, that first sock, and just really getting to know the yarn and learning how the colors knit up and the way that they, you know, the way that they form the sock, the way that the weight of the yarn knits up at that particular gauge or needle size. I'm using my Knit Pro Zings 2mm, which has been now what I always knit my socks on. These are pink, which I love. That's my favorite color. I'm really drawn to it, and I'm really enjoying those. So I'm hoping that I have some time this week to knit and finish them and to find some more yarn to play with and have fun with knitting. So I do have plans to knit I can't decide if I'm going to do a pullover or cardigan. There's a really beautiful cardigan called the Ziri or Siri cardigan, and that will be the next cast on that I do. It's in a DK weight yarn, and a Homespun house has brought DK weights back into the shop, and I currently have some tonals in the pots right now. I'm dyeing up Water Reservoir, which I have on singles in the shop right now. It's a new colorway that I am in love with. I am so in love with. So this is what it looks like. There's definitely at least one, I think there are probably 2 sweater quantities. There may be large sweater quantities. 15 skeins in the shop right now of Water Reservoir, and I just love this. So I'm dyeing this up on DK weight yarn, some to put in the shop, and then I dyed up enough for myself to knit the Ziri cardigan with. So Verena from the Wool Club on Instagram, she has some gorgeous designs as well, along with Hannah Biza from Hannah on the Road, are knitting the Ziri cardigan. Hannah Biza is doing the cardigan and Verena is doing the pullover. And we were first introduced to this cardigan on the first yarn crawl that I went on by Eula from Hey Mama Wolf Yarns. She's a gorgeous natural yarn dyer here in Berlin. And she was wearing the Ziri cardigan out of her own yarns, and I just fell in love with it. And so this week I was like, enough is enough. I'm going to dye up my own yarn, and this is a new colorway that I've come up with. And it has a bit of different color in it. It's not just blue. There is the teeniest, tiniest bit of aqua and mint green in there as well. But it's a really pretty layered colorway. I'm not sure if the camera will pick that up. So this is the colorway that I will knit my Ziri cardigan in. I can't wait for it to exhaust and dry. I bet I'll be able to cast that on sometime next week. I bet I will cast it on. And then I've also dyed up on singles Barley, or not on singles, on DK Barley. So this is on singles. This is just such a pretty mustard colorway. It's really, really gray outside right now, so the lighting here probably is messing up the yarns a bit. Another new colorway that I've dyed up is this colorway called Elderberry, and oh my goodness, I love this. It's really, really pretty tonal. It's very, very tonal. I would say there are about 8 different colors in this yarn, but I really like it. I think this would also make a beautiful cardigan or pullover as well. I have some of this on DK that will be going up in the shop soon too. So, how gorgeous are those 3 together? Water Reservoir, Elderberry, and Barley. I love those. Here I also have Oatmeal. Oops, let's put this label down. Lychee. Peony. It's pretty. And then I have Fog. So these are all singles that I'm showing you guys right now because I've been going crazy dyeing singles. I love them for shawls. I think they would even make a really nice cardigan, a really lightweight cardigan. So here's Heart-Shaped Box. That one looks gorgeous with Water Reservoir. It looks beautiful with Barley. What else would I use that with? Could use it with Ash. Use Ash with it. And then I have Passenger. It's just a really pretty cream-based one with just really nice pops of color. That one would pair really nicely with Whale Belly. It looks really pretty. There are a lot more in the shop, but I just wanted to share with you guys some of the tonals. And then, like I said, these pumpkin spice ones that I'm really excited to put in there. Those ones get snatched up pretty quickly. So, so yeah, I have been having so much fun. I feel like I've been making a lot of kits lately, mostly sock kits. I will usually pair a skein of yarn with a 20-gram skein for heels, cuffs, and toes, and that's usually a tonal, the 20-gram skein, along with some sort of fun speckled or tweedy yarn. And the next kits that I'm going to have in the shop, I am over the moon excited about. Let me show you guys the yarn, the fabric that I'm going to be using. So this is the fabric that I will be making my next kits with. It is so autumnal, so just perfect. I cannot wait to make up a special yarn to go with this. I love how it's very heathered, very muted colors. I'm already scheming and planning how this yarn will look. A tweed would be really, really nice, to be honest. But I also feel like a BFL would fit perfectly. So, speaking of yarns, if you've had a look in my shop lately, you will notice that my yarns are no longer labeled Jeunesse, Bakken, Dale, Olsen, Dorheim, my names that my original yarn bases were. And that is because I have introduced so many bases into my shop now. I really wanted to have a really nice variety of yarns for people to choose from. So those bases are all the same as they were before, except for the BFL. That is, you know, a new base that I've brought in. But now I'm just calling them by what they are. Single ply, soft sock, plump merino. I have, you know, the gold stellina, just so that people can go in the shop and really, really easily see what it is that they're buying without clicking and reading all of the information. Like, you know, newcomers to my shop have no idea what Bakken means. So it's still the same base. It's still the merino cashmere nylon base. In fact, I have some right here that I'm going to be dyeing a little bit later today. So just so that doesn't confuse you, because I have been getting some emails of people like, single ply, is this the same as Jeunesse, or, you know. So yeah, just so you guys know. I do have some minis that will be going up in the shop today, so if you guys can snag your hands on those. I am currently making more minis to put into the shop next week. I'm trying to have it that once every week, every 2 weeks, I have 20 sets of minis that I'm putting into the shop, because I know you guys really like those and I like making them. It's really fun. The fun thing about minis is you really see how the yarn is going to knit up, and that's what reskeinin does. So you have a skein of sock yarn, like heart-shaped box, for example, and this middle skein right here is heart-shaped box reskeined into a mini, obviously. So these are 10-gram minis, and that's basically how it will look knit up, because that's how the colors are distributed, you know, once it's, you know, flipped all around. So that's a fun thing, that I can kind of choose, like, okay, I haven't won this one into minis yet, I've never knit with this, I really want to see, you know, how it's going to form. So they're fun, I enjoy them, and it really, I don't get time to watch podcasts and to do stuff like that, except for when I am winding minis. That's kind of the only podcast watching time that I get. I try to do most of my knitting in the car. I do get some time when Robert is gone in the evening, like tonight. He will be gone, so I will be able to sit back, watch a podcast, and I'll probably knit on my socks. If I could finish them, that would be awesome. Something else that I got that I'm really excited about is this Quilt As You Go Made Modern book, because I know this has been all the rage. Everybody is very excited about this, so I'm quite excited to read about it. I'm very curious about it though, like I said, how well it will work. So I'm looking forward to having a look into that and seeing a little bit more about it. And one of my things that I really want to finish is this quilt top that I made, oh my goodness, 4 years ago. This is my goal for the end of the year, for the rest of the year, is to finish this. So this is a twin-sized quilt top, and this is a scrappy trip-along is the pattern quilt. And I had so much fun making this and buying fabrics for it. I bought a backing for it, and I bought some wool batting. I bought enough wool batting to make 2 more quilts. So I'm really, the quilting bug has really hit me. I really want to make a Christmas quilt. I have the most beautiful charm pack. I'll show you guys when I start to do it. But I really, really want to make a Christmas quilt. So I bought some wool batting. I bought some gorgeous backing to put on all of these quilts already. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to really dig into quilting and to finally get that quilt together. I'm hoping that it will be something that we can hang over our new sofa wherever we live. I know so many of you guys have been asking, have we gotten the house? Well, that was how long ago? Was that 4 weeks ago? Because we were supposed to find out then if we've gotten the house. We have not found out yet. Time is just dragging, and I feel like every day it's like, this is the day. No, this is the day. No, this is the day. And this week especially, because it will be shocking if we don't find out this week whether or not we've gotten the house. The more time goes on, the more and more I realize why this house is special. It's not like time moves and I think, oh, maybe this house isn't right because of this. Maybe this house isn't right because of that. There are so many signs and so many things in this house that tell me that I am supposed to be here. I just feel it deep in my body. Now, obviously, if we don't get it, that's not supposed to happen. But it feels like it is supposed to belong to me. I know that sounds weird, but there are these, I don't want to say stickers because that sounds very tacky, and they're not even window clings. They're kind of like, I don't even know what they are. There are these things that hang in the windows in the kitchen, and they're just these black outlines of birds, kind of like a shadow, and there's 3 massive, well, there are more than 3, there are 4 massive windows in the kitchen. And on 3 of these windows, there are these outlines of birds. And my Grandma Sue had, I'm almost positive, these exact hangings in her windows at Whispering Pines. Right at the foot of the forest is a big peppermint plant, massive one. And memories, as soon as I smelled this and as soon as I was there, flooded back to Whispering Pines. And my Grandma Sue's peppermint plant that she had at the foot of Whispering Pines. The yard that is there really reminds me of my childhood home, and the forest really reminds me of Whispering Pines as well. Just the feel of this place calls my name. I hope that, you know, the news that we get is what we're hoping to hear. We just really cannot imagine the heartbreak of hearing that this home would not be ours. It would mean that we would have to live in an apartment for 2 more years, but mostly it would mean that this particular home would not be ours, which would be a really big heartbreak. Every day Elodie asks if we found out about the house, and she has plans of what she wants to do with the yard. We would love to put a zip line in there. We went and we visited the home, I think 3 weeks ago, and we really talked with the owner, who looks exactly like my dad, by the way. I cannot get over this. He really does. I'm not even exaggerating that. And oh, they have the most gorgeous apple trees with fantastic tasting apples. There are blackberries there. There's a big blackberry bush, which we had at my family house growing up. And I can remember my sister and I going over to the blackberry tree and you know, just pulling down blackberries and eating them. We were never gathering them for anything, for making marmalade or cakes or pies. And I don't even know if my mom used the blackberries for anything, if she actually made anything with them. I remember they would be all over the ground at a certain period of time, but oh, my sister and I would gobble up all of these blackberries. But these apple trees really, really fascinated me with how delicious they've tasted. Here in Germany, I feel like it is quite a common thing for a lot of people to have apple trees in their yard, and plum trees, plums as well, plum trees. But I've never really tried an apple from an apple tree that wasn't, as you say in German, mehlig. I really have no idea what this word is in German. It's just this really texture that's dry and, oh, I don't know, but these apples were just so fantastic, and I love anything apples. I love apple pie, I love apple crumble, I love apple muffins, and I just had apple butter. I just had all of these thoughts about all the things I could do with these apples. Now I know that other houses have apples, other houses have these other things, but this house is different. Robert and I were laying in bed last night, and he was like, kind of what I spoke about before, you know, he said, since, you know, since putting an offer in on this house, or, you know, saying that we would like to reserve this house, have you had any reservations about this house? Have you had any, not reservations, have you had any times where you thought, you know, I don't like this, or I don't like that, or this should be different? And I said, no, I haven't actually. Have you? And he said, no, me neither. Which was really, really nice to hear. But it's so weird. Each day is, like I mentioned, especially this week, I have just really felt strongly that that was the day we were going to hear. So today it is now midday. Well, it's noon. And I hope we hear back today. I really, really hope we hear back today. It would just be the best feeling ever to know that that is ours. That will be our home. So while on the yarn crawl this past time, this was my second yarn crawl with Verena and Hannah-Lisa, I didn't vend there, but I did join for fun. There were some lovely indie dyers there. There was Ovis Etc., there was Herbstblatt Regina, and there was Mrs. Mothballs there. And the first yarn dyer who I bought yarn from was Ovis Etc., and she is Dutch. She has the most wonderful, wonderful yarns. They are non-superwash yarns, and they are local yarns, which is something that I love. I love non-superwash yarns. I love superwash yarns as well, but there is something extra cozy and just amazing about knitting with this sort of a yarn. I cannot get over my excitement about these yarns. So I don't have the labels with me to tell you what they are, but I know that she has some yarns up in her shop. So regardless of the blend, I felt a lot of her yarns. I saw a lot of her yarns. I can definitely say that you will not be unhappy with a purchase from her. So this one kind of matches my shirt. So I really love these. She does not dye with natural yarns, which she mentioned is a common misconception with her shop. She does dye with greener yarns, so they're a lot more safe than the more, you know, normal acid dyes that a lot of people use. So I have these 3 colorways. This one's quite rose heathered, this one's quite peachy, and this one is like a blue-gray. And I'm thinking about knitting a shawl with these or doing some sort of shawl design. I just think they're really sweet. They look really gorgeous together. And then this one, oh, you can really feel the lanolin in here. I really, really love this. This is just gorgeous. It feels so... It's definitely more hard wearing. It's not as soft as the other ones. She said this one would be great for socks. So I'm thinking I'm going to knit a pair of socks with this. I think I will probably weigh it, though, as I knit it. And these will definitely be heel or, you know, ankle length socks, because this is a 50-gram skein of yarn. So I could knit calf length socks and then do a contrasting heels, cuffs, and toes, but I don't think I have any yarn that I could pair that would be complementary to this. So I wish I would have snagged a 20 gram mini. So those are beautiful. I am over the moon happy with these. she was really lovely. I didn't get a chance to talk to her a lot. I wish I would have had a little bit more time to speak with her. So the next skein of yarn that I got is from Miss Mothballs, and this is, I believe, oh goodness, I don't know what the base is of this either. This is definitely a sock yarn. I think it's probably an 80-20 or a 75-25. It's merino nylon, or it's wool nylon. I don't think this is merino, but it's just this really, really pretty minty, kind of heathered mint green with this plum purple, and then there's blue, purple, and red specks on there. So I think those will make some really fun socks, and I like, it's definitely hard wearing German yarn. She dyes up some fun colorways. And then the final skein of yarn that I got was from Herbstblatt Regina, and this is called Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte, and that's like cherry black forest cake. So this is 80% merino wool and 20% polymade. And yeah, this is really, really pretty. This feels, it says that it's 100 grams, 400 meters, but it feels pretty plump. And it's gorgeous. I love the dye job that Regina did on this. These will make some really, really cool socks. Verena from the Wool Club has a Tulsi sock pattern, and I feel like these would just make really cool Tulsi socks. And I know that Regina was the yarn dyer for the original Tulsi sock pattern. I'm quite sure, so. I love all of those. I'm excited to cast them on. I could see this being the next pair of socks that I cast on, because I'm really itching to see how these work up. This is quite a fine fingering weight yarn. These definitely will need a 2 millimeter needle. I could even see, it's really funny. These have a very hand spun feel to them, because it is quite an uneven ply. Not ply, but the strands are, you know, thicker and thinner. Not in a big way, but in a way that you can see if you really look. I don't think it will interrupt the sock knitting, but I really, really love those. Beautiful. I'm so excited about the Ovis Etc. yarn. You guys, go and have a look in her shop. She makes just such beautiful yarns. So, and she's a newer hand dyer as well, and I love her concept. I wanted to mention, because I am so into, you know, these woolly yarns, there is a farm nearby here in Germany, and I've spoken with them, and I would love to offer a club of local, non-superwash. I haven't decided if I'll do a 100% merino or like a sock yarn, 75-25 or 80-10 merino nylon sock club. So I would really, really like to offer that. Maybe for November, December, January, just because I really want to be working with the local farmers, and I think the idea of that sounds so exciting to me. I've seen the yarn that they make, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful, it's woolly, it's soft, it's really neat to see the sheep and the way that they're taken care of, and to see what, you know, those farmers are producing. So if you guys are interested in that sock yarn club, go to the Homespun House website, and there's just a little contact tab that you guys can click. I think it's maybe under shop. It might even have its own tab. I should know this. And just write me and let me know. And I just want to see how many people are interested before I order a bunch of yarn. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. Let me know what you guys think. I am releasing the last of the Harry Potter Sucre Sucre yarn clubs this week. And then in September starts the Tim Burton yarn club, which I'm really excited about with Sucre Sucre. I have decided that my yarn clubs will no longer be available outside of yarn clubs. I was watching Jacqueline Salen of the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast, and a while back she mentioned that yarn clubs should be like special. It shouldn't be something that you're getting outside of the yarn club, and like, what's the point of joining the yarn club, kind of, is what she said. And I understand wanting to release the yarn later. I definitely get that as well. But I've decided that I won't be doing that anymore. It will just be special yarn for my yarn clubs, and like I said, those colorways won't be reproduced. So the yarns that I have offered in this yarn club, I've done Dobby Tries to Help and You Has to Eat This Sir. Have I shown you guys this? I don't think I have. Let me grab it. Okay, I haven't. I'm almost positive I haven't. So let me open up this skein for you guys. I have kept one of these skeins for myself in each of the clubs. This one especially, because I'm Harry Potter obsessed. So this is the skein. Maybe I should pop it into a skein of You Has to Eat This Sir, is what this colorway is called. And if you guys know Harry Potter by the movies, Neville's the one who gives Harry the gillyweed in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. However, Neville isn't actually the person who gave Harry Potter the gillyweed. It was actually Dobby, and that's what this yarn is named after. So this is You Has to Eat This Sir. It's funny that both of my my first two installations are, you know, Dobby related, and this is the trend. So it is a really cool little jar of bottled gillyweed, which I love. And I know you guys will absolutely adore the next installation. So I can't wait for you guys to get that. The charm is really fun. And the yarn is really, really fun too. Quite autumnal. So I'm excited. I'm sad to be having the Harry Potter clubs end, but I'm thinking that January through March I will do another Sucre Sucre Harry Potter yarn charm club. And like I said, I will only offer those yarns through the club because I feel like the indie dyeing market is very saturated in Harry Potter yarns right now. So I will not be dyeing up any more Harry Potter yarns for the shop at all. As far as I know, I will never be dyeing Harry Potter yarns up for the shop, other than the ones I already have in Half-Blood Prince, Mermaid of the Black Lake, and Xenophilius Explains the Deathly Hallows, and After All This Time. So I have 4 current ones that I dye up, but other than that, I won't be doing or releasing any more Harry Potter themed yarn. So for those of you who were hoping that I would be, I'm very sorry about that. I just feel like too many dyers are doing it right now, and they make wonderful Harry Potter yarn. So go and check out their shops if that's what you're looking for. And I love Harry Potter, by the way. So yes, still be thinking about us, about our house. I will definitely let you know in the next podcast. We will have found out. And I hope that it's the best news ever. So I will talk to you guys soon. Hopefully feeling super ecstatic that we have gotten good news, and have a wonderful September. Bye.